How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Mike's a little low there. Over on the 1 hour, we only have a couple candles here. We have like 3 candles. The third one's just starting because the Dixie doesn't really trade much on the weekends. We will go over our indicators real slow for you though, so you know what's going on for the rest of the video. We do have a possible cup and handle here, where this would be our dip for our handle. So if we can break through this support resistance area, that could help push us forward to that 103 area, filling that previously made gap. Our indicators that we are using is Market Cipher B edits and Market Cipher A free version 1.1. So you'll want both of these on TradingView. It is all free. We have our stochastic, which is up here. It has the double lines. It has a orange line and a blue line. When the orange line is above the blue line, we typically see selling pressure. Right here, orange above blue, we did dip down. When blue is above orange, we typically push forward. So that's how the stochastic works. When the stochastic is above the 30, so right around this zone right here, when we're above 30 with stochastic and RSI, those are both in bullish territory, meaning we could continue forward. If they break this 30, they are in bearish territory, meaning we could push lower. The RSI is our red line, and it stands for the Relative Strength Index. The stochastic gives the RSI the strength. The RSI is based on our last 14 candles, so it gets the strength based on the last 14 candles. You can see we have a pretty decent move up, so our RSI is pretty high. Our money flow, momentum, and our VWAP are different parts of this indicator here. This is Market Cipher B. Our momentum is our big blue wave, our VWAP is the yellow, and our money flow is the red, sometimes green, depends on what kind of a trend we are in. So if we look at our VWAP, the yellow wave, when it's above 0, this is true for all 3 of these, money flow, VWAP, and momentum. When they're above 0, they are in bullish territory. When they're below 0, they're in bearish territory. Our VWAP is the medium long term. It is currently slightly in that bearish territory, which means our momentum would be at risk of starting to fall away from here. We do have that double red dot, but it's really not picking up much because the VWAP isn't getting a strong push to the bearish side. If we do not get a strong push down, we likely can come back up and make a new bullish trend where this would be a weak low that didn't really play out very much. If that were to happen, momentum will stay high and then our money flow will continue forward. However, with the money flow being red in the bearish territory, that could lead to other time frames starting to weaken. The 2 hours already weak, the 4 hours a little iffy. If that 1 hour rolls over and we reject this resistance area, it's very likely the bears will step in and we could fill those lower areas that we have mentioned, which would be like that 99 area. So over on total, this is everything except Bitcoin and Ethereum. So all of our altcoins combined besides Bitcoin and Ethereum. Our momentum is pushing down. Stochastic is pushing away. We have that strong bearish split off that is trying to bring us down. RSI does want to sell off, and the VWAP is rejecting away from that neutral, trying to make lower lows. If this VWAP continues with these lows, we're likely going to see the bears take over, as we do currently have consistent lows with lower highs, which is a bearish trend. If that continues, momentum will come out and money flow likely will start to come out. That would result in our altcoins starting to sell off. If we look at Bitcoin dominance, we are still sliding. We're really not going very far though. We're getting these long lower shadow candles, which show that the sellers try to suppress price, but the buyers are stepping in and invalidating that. We could be making a small descending triangle that could try to take us down, fill that gap, and then if we do not have strong enough selling pressure to push beyond that gap, we could see the bulls step in and push dominance further up. So we may not come back to that value area high and test toward it. Remember, our volume profile, which is what you see here, has 3 parts: the value area high, the point of control, and the value area low. If you get green candles above value area highs, you tend to leave your volume profile and move forward. However, you see we're setting up a lot of red here. If you continue to set up red candles and you trend toward the value area high, you can break it. If you break that value area high, you're likely going to push to that point of control, our blue line. At which point, if you cannot get green candles from there, you're going to break down toward your value area low, possibly breaking it, most likely you will. And then you could come up for a retest, much like back here, how you retest coming down, you'll retest coming up. If you get rejected at that retest coming up and you're not setting green candles there, then you will fall away and you could leave your volume profile to the downside and make a bearish trend. Back here you can see we did leave our volume profile to the bullish side after setting up a lot of green candles and getting some retests. Usually any pattern or movement gets some sort of retest on a zone, so usually the smart move to make is to watch for your retests after your pattern breaks, and then you make your move on your retest, and then you get your breakout. That's not always going to work for you. It's not financial advice, but that's a good way to do breakout trading. RSI wants to come down. Momentum's coming down in bearish territory. That VWAP's just under that neutral, so our money flow is breaking down. If our VWAP cannot maintain some strength from here, the money flow is going to continue down, and our momentum is pretty weak, so everything could start to roll away. Everything's pretty oversold right now. The RSI is the only thing with a little bit of strength, but if that stochastic remains low and we keep seeing some strong sell-off, then that RSI is going to trend down. If we start getting some stronger green candles, that will push us forward. The stronger green candles, if they push us forward, could help us leave this range like we mentioned. So enough on that. Bitcoin futures, we are seeing a bit of a gap down. Sorry, my neck is pretty itchy today. Bitcoin futures is gapping down. We could come back up, snap up, fill that gap, and then possibly see a rejection from there. That would be a bearish move. But remember, we do have this descending channel that is a bullish pattern. Now, some people are trying to call like flags here, but I don't really call the sideways channel a flag. Momentum wants to push down, RSI is coming down, stochastic wants to roll away, VWAP's picking up bearish momentum, and the money flow wants to come down because our VWAP is favoring bearish momentum and our momentum is coming out. If that continues, we're likely going to push under. We could fill this first gap under us, possibly see lower price action, leave this gap to fill later, but if we start seeing some bullish momentum, it's likely we will come up, fill that gap, and possibly look for a push up or down from there. If we got push up from there, we still have that 50K area that could be in play if we can get over that 44K. However, remember that if we see bearish pressure here and we invalidate this pattern by breaking through this channel, breaking down into that gap, and pushing lower preemptively rather than slowly sliding away, it's likely we could fill lower gaps under us and we could see the bears take over. So just be prepared for both scenarios and have a plan to manage your risk properly. Over on Bitcoin, we did try to call a descending wedge. Descending wedges are bullish patterns that typically break you up, but here's why: no pattern's 100% and there's no crystal ball in trading. So we did invalidate it. This invalidation could spell that you may want to cancel any kind of position. That would be a decent loss area. You haven't lost too much at this point if you took up top and then rode it down to that breakout. Just keep in mind, we are just above that value area high though. So if we start setting green candles, we could still leave the value area high and trend forward. But again, if we set red candles here, we're likely trending to 40K, where we could break that even psychological number, and it could be a pretty strong move down from there if we're not careful. Momentum wants to roll away. VWAP's picking up bearish momentum, rejecting away from that neutral. Stochastic's pushing down. Money flow wants to push away. RSI is losing strength as our stochastic pushes down. So overall, we're not looking that strong here. If we look at the 4 hour for Bitcoin, our green EMA does want to break through that red EMA. If we do see that breakthrough, we could continue to the downside We have been quite a bit below this green EMA for some time, so we may come up, try to get back above it for a little bit, and then continue back down from there. Our stochastic has bearish divergence, RSI wants to come down, VWAP's rejecting away that neutral after gaining a weaker high, so we could have bearish favor, momentum's coming down, and our money flow is in jeopardy of breaking into the bearish territory. If the 4-hour breaks bearish here, we could see that confirmation across the 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour that we mentioned that can have a pretty drastic move to the downside. RSI and stochastic want to come down. VWAP's picking up bearish momentum. Money flow starting to come down, but it's a little indecisive. You can see it's just chopping around here as that VWAP really doesn't know where it wants to favor. If we start setting lower lows with lower highs though, it's very likely we will pick up more bearish momentum. Momentum is spilling over pretty drastically, so I would keep an eye on things. We do have lower lows, so just watch out for lower highs. Over on the 1 hour, we have a manipulation X that is bringing us down. VWAP is heavy in that bearish territory, gaining a new low after gaining a new high, so we could see lower highs and lower lows start to form. If that happens, then we would see our 2 and 4 hours start to weaken more, at which point we could see that larger breakdown. Momentum does want to push away, stochastic wants to come down, and our RSI is trying to trend away, so I would just watch out for those futures areas that we have mentioned. If you miss that, we do have a short on it, so you don't have to sit through a whole video and try and find the video where we mention the gaps. Over on graph for the daily, we could have a potential double top here, so we'll use our pattern. Draw here, rise, drop, double top, push you down, so your move would be about from here to here. So not very big of a move, probably, hate how it does that. Probably bring us back down toward that support area. RSI wants to come down, momentum wants to push down, stochastic's coming out, VWAP's picking up bearish momentum, so that money flow would be in jeopardy of rolling over here with the VWAP and momentum coming down. Over on the 4 hour, you can see we're pretty much at that neckline, so if we break this zone, it's likely downhill from here. RSI wants to come down, stochastic wants to make a split. This would be our third touch to the top, so we would be in jeopardy of pushing down and breaking this channel to the downside like they do, as it is a rising channel. Rising channels bring you down. RSI wants to come out, stochastic wants to push down with a bearish cross, VWAP's in the bearish territory, and money flow is starting to pick up some bearish momentum, so I would watch out. Momentum does want to push under, so overall the 4 hour does look like it could start to flip into that bearish territory. Over on the 2 hour, VWAP's getting consistent lows after getting consistent highs, so if we see lower highs here and consistent lows start to form, this money flow is likely going to break to the bearish side as it's clinging to the bullish territory. Momentum does want to push down, and it has been favoring bearish territory, so it's all up to that VWAP weakening and pulling down. Over on the 1 hour, we have a manipulation X that does want to bring us down, so I would watch out for that. It has brought us down a decent way, and we are retracing, so we could see a few green candles, and then if we come up to these EMAs and reject, we could see continual downside from there. Stochastic does want to push down, RSI wants to come down, momentum is starting to push away, VWAP's breaking into the bearish territory, and our money flow does want to push forward, but if that VWAP makes a lower high, the money flow and momentum are likely going to roll away from here, picking up more bearish momentum. Over on Anchor for the daily, we are seeing pretty similar, where we do have that possibility of a round to the downside. RSI is pretty flat, stochastic does want to come up, but starting to struggle. Our VWAP does want to maintain some bullish momentum, but it's starting to go flat, so it's not very strong, and it could start to roll away. I would watch the lower time frames. Money flow does want to come down, so we are a little dicey here at best. Over on the 4 hour, we got a long upper shadow candle, so that shows that buyers tried to push us away and invalidate this pattern, but the seller stepped in and managed to suppress price. Stochastic wants to come down, RSI wants to push away as a result. Our momentum is rolling away with a red dot as that VWAP wants to break into the bearish territory, and the money flow is starting to pick up some more bearish momentum as well. So if the VWAP and momentum push under from here, that money flow is likely going to cross under and weaken the daily. Over on the 2 hour, our money flow is clinging to that bullish territory. VWAP starting to make a break for it after making a new high. Momentum is starting to roll away. Stochastic has bearish divergence. RSI is coming down. And the momentum has a red dot as that VWAP is falling. So I would just watch these lower time frames. The 1 hour here does see the stochastic dropping pretty quickly. RSI is pushing down. So if that continues, the RSI could start to slip here. Our momentum does want to roll away. Money flow is struggling to maintain bullish momentum after picking up some strength as the VWAP is pushing back into the bearish territory with lower highs and lower lows. If these lower highs and lower lows continue, we could see a rollover and the bears gain control after that long upper shadow. Over on XRP for the daily, we are setting red candle below that point control. If we continue to see red candles, this would be a confirmation of a rejection, and we will trend to our support levels. RSI does want to come down, stochastic wants to come down. Money flow is starting to go flat as that VWAP is favoring bearish momentum, and the momentum is breaking into the bearish territory, so I would watch these lower time frames. Over on the 4 hour, we are in a bit of a descending channel, so that could be bullish for us, as that could mean some short-term gains are ahead of us. But our stochastic does look like it could start to pick up bearish momentum. RSI wants to roll over. VWAP is favoring bearish territory, and the money flow is starting to weaken as the momentum comes down. So I would watch the VWAP and momentum. If the VWAP and momentum continue to favor how they are, the money flow is likely going to flip bearish, and then we could see the 4 hour start to break down. Over on the 2 hour here, stochastic is pushing away, starting to split off very quickly. RSI wants to come down, and our money flow is attempting to make a bounce here as the VWAP is starting to try to bounce back up. So if the VWAP rolls over with a lower high here and momentum pushes down, that money flow is likely going to roll over into the bearish territory, at which point that could start to weaken that 4 hour. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a double manipulation X that does want to bring us down. Remember, when they're in pairs, they tend to bring you down. Stochastic does want to push down. RSI is starting to trend away. Money flow is picking up bearish momentum, and the VWAP is picking up bearish momentum as well with lower lows. If it rejects for lower highs, then we could see the bears take over and drop price. Finally, for algo for the daily, we are coming down toward the bottom of that channel. So we are rejecting that golden pocket, that manipulation zone. Again, if you don't know what the golden pocket is for your Fibonacci retracement, because you're not going to have it by default, visit our Trading Basics playlist. We have a lot of great videos like how to make the Fibonacci retracement and how to get the golden pocket. Momentum does want to push down. RSI is coming down. Stochastic wants to push away. Money flow is trying to continue up, but the VWAP is picking up bearish momentum, so I would exercise caution. Over on the 4 hour, we do have 3 touches to the top. We did mention back here that that could be our 3rd touch and we could break from it. So far, that is holding true. If we come down and test the support and break that support, then that triple top possibility could invalidate the bull flag possibility, and we would see that bring us down. RSI does want to come out. Stochastic wants to come down, money flow is coming out, that VWAP is favoring bearish territory, and the momentum is heavy in that bearish territory as well, so the 4 hours not looking too positive. Over on the 2 hour, we are starting to see a bit of a slip here. We are going kind of sideways, chopping sideways, then dropping, chopping sideways, dropping, so I would watch out for some sideways chop after this drop because we could see another drop. Stochastic wants to come out, RSI wants to come down, VWAP is picking up bearish momentum, money flows in that bearish territory, and the momentum is in jeopardy of rolling away. So overall, the 2 hour does look like it could pick up some more bearish momentum, and if it does, that 4 hour would be in jeopardy of pushing down. Finally, on the 1 hour, stochastic is pushing down very strongly, RSI is coming out, money flows heavy in that bearish territory, VWAP's picking up new lows, so if it comes up for a lower high, we could see the bears continue control and push price down. Momentum does want to come out, so if we do see the bears regain some control here, we could see that support break and lower price action. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.